Pospisil is an associate professor at the Centre for Trust, Peace and Social Relations at Coventry University. Is joining me live from London now. Jan, thank you for being there. We were reporting weeks ago about the world leaders trying to calm things down in Sudan. Things seem to be getting worse, not better.
Yeah, but I mean, we have to say that this was to be expected. There was no real possibility for a ceasefire or peace negotiations after the initial attempts of getting a power sharing agreement between these two armed forces would kind of prevail. What we see at the moment is now an intensification in Khartoum, which looks really, really bad, one has to say. Like RSF attacked this police headquarters. We hear that the Sudanese armed forces then started aerial attacks and heavy machinery trying to get this headquarters back. We don't know really who is having the upper hand in this fighting right now, but it appears that this is not going to stop anytime soon until one party really thinks that they have no chance in winning this on the battlefield.
And in terms of who's going to win, I guess it's impossible to say right now, but there's an element of proxy war about this. I mean, they must be getting munitions and support from somewhere. Who's supporting whom?
I mean, obviously, the Sudanese armed forces are heavily supported by Egypt, whereas Hemeti and the Rapid Support Forces get supplies from the Emiratis. The question is now, especially with what we have heard before, the situation in Russia and Wagner, if this kind of close and strong relationships between the RSF and the Wagner group, how are they going to play out in this situation? If there's still support coming from Wagner for the RSF. But at the moment, I think both sides have sufficient supplies to progress on this warfare. And it's not a particularly like supply-heavy warfare. It's a city warfare. Both sides have a lot of soldiers that are basically trained, especially RSF soldiers have been like in combat for long in neighboring countries, in Yemen, in Libya. So they are battle-hardened. And this, even without kind of substantial international support, this war can continue for quite a while.
And we reported on the sort of evacuation of Khartoum. Many citizens, if they could, tried to escape across the water, almost anywhere. Is there any civilians left? I mean, is there any life to be had in Khartoum while all this is going on?
I mean, you still need sufficient means to get out of Khartoum. We've heard from the numbers that several millions have been displaced, most of them actually within Sudan, lots of them going to either Egypt, Chad or South Sudan. But I mean, we talk about a city that had several million inhabitants before, so there need to be like a lot of people left, and it's especially people who cannot afford either to go out, are just like too old or not healthy enough to escape. So this is a really dire situation. Definitely Khartoum is not empty by now.
And what are the ramifications? Is this spilling out or likely to spill out? I mean, South Sudan broke away a manner of years ago, but are there impacts for that country? Are there impacts for Ethiopia to the south?
I wouldn't see like immediate spillovers for South Sudan. There have been debates about the oil pipeline. So South Sudan kind of relies on the oil pipeline to Port Sudan to work. This is probably the biggest ramification for South Sudan. The country that is kind of closest involved to what is going on is Chad, which has been like a recruitment ground for the RSF, and kind of a significant number of RSF combatants come from Chad. There was also like sightings of Chad rebel leaders in Khartoum even. So there is a certain risk that Chad gets dragged into this. I think they try to do everything to stay out as best as they can. The border is more or less closed, but let's see how this goes. I would see from all neighboring countries that Chad is the closest involved country at the moment.
Jan Pospisil, thank you very much indeed for joining us this evening.